everybody, and welcome to another episode of Enlightened Mic, starring Jacob and Tim.
Hey.
We got a good show for you today. Had several pieces of spicy news drop, and we'll talk a little bit about Dynasty as well. Was the hype real? We'll see. But first, Jacob, what did you do this week besides Flesh and Blood?
Well, this last week was Thanksgiving, right?
Something like that.
Was it?
Yeah. Was it last week or was it the week before? It's one of those weeks.
One of those weeks. Well, I'm disoriented because it seemed like either last week or the week before, but I have done mostly that, just like holiday stuff, getting ready for a big trip. I'm gonna go down to Hawaii with my partner.
Nice.
So just kind of getting my life in order and getting Christmas gifts before I get out of here.
What island are you going to?
We're going to the Big Island. We're going to Hawaii.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I went to Maui once when Janice and I were like 1 year engaged, 1 year married. We went to Maui. It was dope. And everybody's like, oh, Maui's great. Big Island. It's tight. So
yeah, no, I'm super excited. I've never been, and it'll be cool to go and like stay with her parents and stuff. So it's gonna be a good trip.
Oh, her parents are there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot cheaper to visit. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds dope, man. I myself also did Thanksgiving stuff. We usually go to see my family, but my wife and child were both sick, and then my wife had so we went to San Jose, as I believe we discussed on the last podcast, and we came back, and we went to San Jose, and I wore a mask and everything, but convention center, 2 flights there and back, right? Lots of people. We went out to eat a couple times, so I did some socialization, and I was totally fine. I was losing my voice because I was just talking the whole time, and then I came back, and my wife, who stayed at home, just got COVID, and I felt really bad. But and my daughter tested, and she was negative, and then I started feeling a little sick, and I was like, crap, I got the vid finally, and then I tested negative, so I just got some daycare cold or something, and missed a few more weeks of fab, but that's I needed a break anyway, so made it out on Wednesday.
I think we took a well needed break after San Jose.
Yeah, totally.
Fab, so. But I'm definitely ready to get back in.
Yeah, man, Dynasty is I don't know what the hell this meta is. I went out on Wednesday, and there were Boltons, and there were 3 Reinars and some Icelanders, and Azalea's got a bunch of nutty cards now. It's I don't know, it's really weird. But it looks super fun, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. But how did you? Oh, the other thing, I painted a ton of Warhammer minis. That's just my new thing now.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and a friend of mine gave me a bunch of their old minis that they hadn't painted. So I had a stack of sprues that I clipped up and glued together, and now I just got to paint them all. So, yeah. You play any Flesh and Blood this week?
I played one game for the Fab Team Cup, which we are participating in under Team Galaxy Brain. It was a Fire, and I lost it in the last turn cycle. What's the word I'm looking for? Last turn of the game. We were 1-1, and I had to arsenal awkwardly an Art of War. And then it got stuck there for about 3 turns. Ended up, going wide on a 5 turn and just pushing through that 1 damage. But it was a really good game, and he was an awesome opponent. It's always fun to meet a complete stranger on the internet and play a game that was not only really good, but then a really good conversation afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So
who is your opponent? Do you remember?
Anthony Pham, I think his name is.
Okay. Yeah, well, shout out to Anthony. My opponent was also really terrific. Jimmy Lee notorious Bolton player. I actually teched my deck a little bit for Bolton in the first week. Showed up on Fi and shit. But it was a very good game. I actually posted the replay analysis up on YouTube, so if you're watching this, go check that out as well. But yeah, I came up with the same feeling. Like we chatted beforehand, and he was just like super stoked to be playing Fab, and like he was a super cool dude. And then we like chatted afterwards, and I was like, hey man, like he was just like, do you want to play another game? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then we just like kind of geeked out about the new Dynasty cards and like played a little bit more. And yeah, he was just like a cool dude, and he was just like stoked to be playing Fab. And I was like, man, anytime you like see me online, you need to practice games, just like hit me up, and like we'll see if we can get it done. And yeah, and he was like, yeah, same to you. And like, so yeah, shout out to Jimmy Lee. I don't remember his team name, but our pod was pretty stacked. I don't think we're going on to the next one. I don't think that's possible, but we can take somebody down with us is what we can do.
Right, we can take wins off of someone who could have
exactly.
gone. Yeah, that's where we're at. We can gatekeep.
Yeah, I'm against Jacob Baugh this week. I'll probably have played him by the time this comes out. So yeah, just like he top 8 in nationals, and what was the other? Like, I feel like he did really well at Worlds as well. Like, or he like did really well in CC or something. I don't remember, but yeah, very good player, accomplished Magic player as well. Yeah, cool. But yeah, you ready? Like, I know we've taken a break, but like, are you ready to like dive back into like? Are you ready to dive back into Dynasty and like start, upgrading your decks? Like, what are you gonna do when you come back?
I'm actually super excited to come back. I have a lot of ideas. I personally think Berserk just looks like one of the most fun cards in the game, and I've been brewing up a deck in the couple of games that I've played on Rhinar. I did have a 38 damage turn, which was kind of ridiculous. It created it was a Berserk Blood Rush Bellows turn, and it kind of just worked like CMH and Force of Nature.
Yeah.
Just this really, really good high roll where you're just constantly coming in for attacks and drawing cards. Can't quite figure out the resource curve yet, but I think switching over to Levia might be the answer. Sure. But I'm really excited to hop back in and figure out Berserk, and then also try out mech stuff.
Oh yeah.
I just going fast with Dash sounds fun, but also figuring out how to do the mech. I think everyone thinks the mech is super powerful and impossible, and the first person to figure it out is going to have a really, really good deck on their hands.
Yeah, I mean, it's Exodia. Like it's like you're even like fusing 5 different like things together. Right. While I was this totally off topic, you're welcome. While I was sick, and like I had the dog settled down and like the wife and the kid were in bed, I just like sat on my couch and like curled up under a blanket and watched episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know why, but like I don't know. And so when I went to Fable Hobby on Wednesday, I was playing against somebody. I was actually playing Dash, and I had I assembled the 2 plasma purifier or 3 plasma purifiers, 2 induction chamber, the Dash thing when you're going defensive. And I said, "Whoa, Exodia!" And then there was another time in the night where somebody was like, "I don't know, that card's kind of weak." And I said, "My grandfather's deck has no weak cards, Kaiba." Nobody said anything or even looked at me when I said them. And it's really unfortunate because I thought they were great throwbacks.
I mean, I feel like every TCG nerd at some point at this point has seen or knows Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh yeah.
I think we're at the particular age where it was very significant for us.
Yes.
I think I loved Yu-Gi-Oh probably more than I loved card games at a point in my life. But yeah, I get all of those references and they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it might just be I don't know how many kids these days. Like I know people they still play Yu-Gi-Oh the card game. I don't know if people still watch the show, but yeah. Yeah, Dash is pretty sweet though. I think you'd like it. It's just got a really cool like you can still do like a really cool transformational sideboard, and I have seen people on like Talishar and posting on Twitter and stuff pulling off the mech combo. Because like you can like especially with the card, it's like Blessing of Ingenuity that gets you back the hyperdrivers.
Right.
Like that actually seems pretty good, and even like if you don't get back the hyperdrivers and then turn it into a mech, it actually still seems pretty good because it gets you a resource every time you boost. Is that how the card works?
Hyperdriver, it's the first time you boost, you get a resource off of it.
Okay.
It's interesting. I think it's funny because it's a deck that's super fragile if it becomes meta.
Right.
Because a lot of classes have kind of a silver bullet for equipment, whether that's dealing damage to the equipment or something like Shred that just came out that can literally just eat the mech if you block with it, to something like Arg Smash for brutes, which will just, they roll a die, and even if they roll a 1, they still get to pop it, I believe.
Does Shred eat the mech?
No, well, so it's like if you block with the mech has temper, so when you play Shred and it gets -4, it goes to 0 through the chain. So there are cards that you could tech in. So for the mech suit to be really good, it has to be something that a team brews up and doesn't tell people and brings to a major event.
Right.
And kind of stunts on them with just this deck that can put out the mech super fast. I think the key is I think there's 2 ways to think about it. Either you put out the mech super fast, so you get full value off of it, or you kind of go for the fatigue plan of like get them down really low, and then when their deck's not strong because they didn't pitch stack properly, you pull out this giant mech that's a problem they have to handle every turn. You just block, and then you go, cool, here comes an attack for 6.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like, I don't know if I see it. Like, I'm trying to think about a use case where like maybe you like do the control thing and you play like just like I don't know, where you just like play. It's tough though because like hyperdriver doesn't block. So if you're playing like all the hyperdrivers, which you probably don't, but like if you're playing like 6 hyperdrivers, you're playing 6 cards that don't block along with your other cards that don't block. And then you have to run like the mech itself, and then you have to run like probably Blessing of Ingenuity, and like you just run a lot of cards that like don't do anything otherwise. So it's kind of tough. It is kind of nice.
Yeah, like I think it's asking for a mid range.
Maybe. I mean, because the nice thing about Blessing of Ingenuity is that you can get it from the banish zone as well. So it's like it's like 3 up to 3 from your discard or banish zone or however it's worded. But
and you run BIOS, right? Because then if you banish it, you just get it into play.
Yeah. That's and like there's some like it's cool, but I think it's just a little too. It's like Dash is more powerful than Azalea, so why would you want to like go and jump through all the hoops like Azalea does? And just to make yourself weaker. Maybe that was a stretch of a metaphor, but
I mean, even think of it in a bigger context. I think Dynasty is trying really hard as a set to force new deck building ideas, and it's presenting these ideas. But I think a lot of Fab players are just asking themselves, "Are these decks more powerful than what we already have access to?"
Right.
And until they get really, really tested, no one knows. It's still so early. Where it's like, I'm sitting over here and a card like Hanabi Blaster, still a hot debate. Is that card good or not? Too many cards. Some people think that it's better than Talishar and has really good speed. Another card is Berserk that I talked about earlier. Some brute players think that's awful. They think it doesn't improve the deck in any ways. And I look at it as like it's Brute's answer to aggro, and it allows us to go faster and have
that's an interesting idea.
Huge combo turns. Yeah. It changes deck building. All of these cards and all of these ideas completely change how you build heroes, which I think is a difficult question. It's asking a lot of the players, but it's for a lot of people that's the fun of the game is to build interesting new ideas. And I think this set has done a great job by introducing a lot of ideas. I think it'll just take time to see if any of them are quote unquote more powerful than what we already have access to. A lot of people are talking about the meta still being the same meta we saw at the Calling and Worlds, which to me sounds funny because it doesn't really say much, right? Because that was like one of the most diverse metas we've seen in Fab.
Yeah, so the Calling top 8 was wacky. It was two Reinars, a Bravo, an Icelander, one Phi. Like it was weird. Alexi also, go check out that deck tech with top 4 competitor Eli Browerman, aka team member Eli. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, it's like honestly, that sounds fine to me. Like, I really liked. I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh my god, meta's like stale, no draftable sets." But like, I think there's a lot of like, it's people are probably going to start complaining before there are even any professional events, competitive events. Yeah, they're going to complain before there's any like ProQuest, right? Yeah, so. I think that's when we're really going to start seeing the impact of Dynasty. I think somebody probably, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody spikes ProQuest playing a really good Arachne deck. I think that deck has legs, and I think that you just have to plan like 20 steps ahead. So, Michael Hamilton's probably just going to win next year's World Championship on it.
I think this next ProQuest season is going to be wild. The decks we're going to see. Just because of the thing that was proposed, like this is like a deck builder's paradise. I'm not that great of a deck builder. I'm very honest with myself in that I like to play this game, but I am not great at putting together these giant puzzles of all the cards. Like I can't go from 0 to 80. Like people who can do that, kudos to you.
It's because the card is called 0 to 60.
But I think we're going to see people who have really creative minds and can see see the forest through the trees, as it were, are going to be able to spike ProQuest all over with crazy decks, from good Arachnes to Katsu. I don't know if that deck's good, but if it's out there and it is, someone's going to just pop off with this crazy Katsu list.
Yeah.
And then by week 3 of ProQuest, we'll see kind of what the good decks and cards from Dynasty really are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we kind of did these show notes out of order. But yeah, I mean, like as far as Dynasty, I think that when a lot of these things, a lot of the spoilers came out, excuse me. When a lot of spoilers came out, I think that there was a lot of hype around a lot of cards, and a lot of people going like, "Oh my god, that's crazy!" And I think that like, I don't think there's going to be anything that's like busted necessarily, but I do think that like the impact is going to be significant.
Oh yeah,
like pretty significant, more significant than what was last, like Everfest, I guess. And like it's like that's kind of a weird loaded comparison, because Everfest had Starvo in it, had a couple of other cards that were just like very pushed as opposed to the other cards. So yeah, I mean, I think the set is great. I love the flavor of the set. I love all the cards that have been printed. Even the bad unplayable cards I think are cool because it's a cool design space. Like the like the Runeblade and the ones where it matters, like where it matters what type of card you pitch, like attack, non-attack action. And then there's one where it's like if you pitched or if you like reveal a red card, make a spectral shield. If you reveal a blue card, like those kind of cards. I think they're all cool design spaces, even if they're bad. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say from a flavor standpoint, I kind of feel like it's not that good compared to Everfest. Like Everfest, not a great set. I wouldn't say it's that great of a set, but at least it had this cool flavor. Like the Carnival flavor came across in the cards. It came across in like the thing they were trying to do. This set had the majestic equipment and like the new weapons and stuff, but I don't know. I didn't feel the flavor of this set that much. Like I didn't know what we were doing. Is it just the witnessing of the Emperor's death? Is it what happened in this set? Yeah. Like they were like, it's a continuation of Uprising, and it feels like a little bit like a ball that was dropped on the side of the storytelling of this set.
Sure, yeah.
But I think from a design standpoint, how they spice up every hero, that's a total win in my book, 100%.
Yeah, and I mean, I like I think that like it's that's something that I think Flesh and Blood could like probably like it's tough because I don't want to say that they're doing it poorly. Or, like it's something that they're going to improve on. I think just over time, like think about Magic, the Gathering and Wizards, right? Like they have like a distinct like a very like long running the storyline involving like all the characters, and there's like they have the different planes like they're right, so just they have an ability to like just jump to a different setting for no reason, um which Flesh and Blood has to an extent, but like they just have a very established story, and they have people who are just like on staff writing these stories, and they also have a bunch of like random beasts and stuff. Like it's very easy to like put something in like some like a generic a green monster or something in Magic. It's very easy to just throw that into the set and say, oh yes, like and just make some tweaks to make it flavorful. And I think Flesh and Blood has a little bit more of a restriction that they're still kind of finding their way with as far as like the flavor goes, which is like all the cards are hero based, right? So like it has to be like an action or like a like
I mean, that's difficult.
like what's that?
I was gonna say, I mean, that's difficult, but
Yeah.
Uprising did a good job. Like, I felt like I understood the story of Five versus Dromai, and Icelander is like an outsider, but she's like kind of fighting both of them, and that comes across in like the gameplay.
Yeah,
I thought
sure.
that was
no,
great,
that was really cool,
really well done, and I think Monarch is another set that really shows like a really cool story of like shadow versus light.
Yeah.
And I think it just really goes to show that it's harder to tell stories through something that is a supplemental set is supposed to like give a little bit to everybody. And the Carnival, as bad as that set was made sense as an idea to like, why would you
like it was like more cohesive or something.
Right. Yeah. It had more of a through line. I mean, and this is nitpicking. Like, this is not something I need in a TCG. It doesn't actually affect my enjoyment of these cards.
Right.
It's just me being critical.
No, it's fun. It's fun to talk about though. And like, I mean, I think I feel like the way that they like spoiled the cards and like told the like, cause like the main plot is that like the spoiler alert, the Emperor gets assassinated. If you don't know, now you know. But but like the way that they like spoiled Regicide and like Arachne and Assassin, like the way that they like released the set was like cool enough for me that I'm like, oh yeah, like this is awesome. And then like all the assassin cards were really cool, and so like I enjoyed that part of it enough to like make me be fulfilled with the story. So like yeah, I mean it's like there's like I don't know, like I think that given time, I think that Legend Story Studios is going to tell an incredible like story that's going to be extremely fleshed out.
I think it's when we get the PVE. The PVE,
oh sure,
and that's maybe why they're holding off so much. Is that when you're trying to do something like that, especially if they want to go the route of telling a story, is you got to get it really fleshed out.
Yeah,
and it has to be a good story. It can't be slapped on.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe we'll get the grand. So and there's bits and pieces all over the game, but maybe we'll get that big kind of through line that they'll be able to follow for just multiple sets throughout an entire year and tell this really great story. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. I think I'm actually kind of excited. Like, are you excited for PVE? Like, I play not over there. I've played all sorts of games like Dominion and Hero Realm, like all sorts of different like deck building games, and a lot of those. See, I actually own Arkham. Like, I have the first starter set. I bought it months ago, and I haven't actually played it yet.
I've been wanting to play it, but I've played like 1 or 2 missions, and it didn't tickle me too much, but the idea of it was so intriguing to me, and so if you're asking me, I'm unbelievably excited for PvE. I can't hold back how excited I am for that. If it can successfully tie together like a trading card game and this kind of cooperative storytelling game that I get to invite people to play, that sounds awesome to me.
Yeah. I think you'd have to have the right people, like the right group of folks to enjoy it. But also, I just hope that they make it like hard, like really, like I hope they make it challenging so that like, so there's some crossover. Like I like it'd be cool to be able to say like, hey, like friends and family, like play Flesh and Blood with me. Like, don't worry, we'll be working together, and I'll like walk you through it. But also, you should have the, you know, for like people like you and me who like tend to be more competitive or something. It'd be nice to be able to like sit down and be like have like a little puzzle for us to figure out as a team. You know,
I think it's cool because they can approach it from both angles. As far as like, you know, people who are into the hobby already will have this way to engage with it and like you said, work together, especially if it's based in LGSs, which I would love to see long story LGS participation where you're going to the LGS and participating in these weekly events or monthly events that are actively building up a hero or something like that.
That would be really fun.
PvE specific cards, something like that. I like that angle, but I also like the idea of doing it as like a homebrew where they give you some rules and you can do it at home, because it leads to this idea is if I'm a person who has this huge fab collection and I want other people to play with me, it's kind of intimidating to be like, hey, let's play. I'm probably going to beat you over and over again.
Yeah.
And I have to build decks that are like competitive both ways, whereas instead I can approach it from like a game master, build 4 characters that I like, build a Briar, Phi, a Bravo, and a Rhinar as like class decks, and then just hand them out to my friends and be like, hey, you don't have to worry about like the deck building side of this game. None of that. I'll just show you the rules. I'll give you a really fun deck and we can go on like an adventure together. That sounds really fun to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's like, I've definitely seen some of the like more like competitive Flesh and Blood people, or the people that like came from playing Magic or whatever, kind of like roll their eyes at this or go like, oh, like we don't want PvE, or like, oh, Yoji must be for PvE or whatever, stuff like that. But I think that like well, first of all, it does sound like, as we've discussed, like it sounds appealing to me, but like I think it's really important for the longevity of Flesh and Blood as well, because like you look at Magic and like the competitive scene is just like, it's been just complete garbage for a long time. Part of that is because Wizards of the Coast is like a stupid, greedy company, and you know, it is what it is. But also, like the reason that Magic has been around for so long, because like a fraction of Magic is the competitive aspect, and people who are like entrenched competitive players, and the vast majority of people are people like me and my buds playing EDH, right? Like
yeah, the PvE being Fab's casual format is revolutionary in a couple ways. One, where it's not facilitated by something like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Magic. They don't approach it from that angle. So it gives them an in. It gives them this new kind of device. And as a play, I came to this game from playing board games. So like, if this game goes the way of Magic, quote unquote, and the competitive side really dies down, they give me this incredible PvE experience where I can buy expansions 4 times a year. I'm sorry to say it, this is a hot take, but I would play the fuck out of that game still. Yeah. I love this game and I love the competitive side, but I love the engine more than anything.
Yeah.
And I'll play this game anyway.
No, 100%. And I mean, I think, yeah, you nailed it there. It's like, I've said this a bunch of times, but like in multiple different ways, but like the first time that I sat down and actually played a game of Flesh and Blood, I was like, I think these people have like cracked the code with like their game engine. And I just really love it. And yeah, like if I could give people the gateway drug of like, oh yeah, like come play this PvE thing with me, and like I could like, you know, I've got a I'm entrenched now, I've got a collection, and it will just grow as more expansions come out or whatever. Then I can just like, yeah, I got the cards, just like come play this game with me. Like that sounds really fun. And yeah, I would play the hell out of it too.
I'm also okay with like PvE only cards,
Yeah.
Specifically in the case of if they're not taking up slots in what is like a draftable competitive set, that's fair. But also, like, if you're going to release a product that's like PvE only and it's marketed that way, you can make those cards so broken. Yeah. You can make them incredibly broken because they're not going to be played in this format where they're going against someone else, where that person's going to have a bad experience and be sad. It's instead you get to play that broken card and everyone at the table goes, yes, this is the time where you get to play the broken card and do this awesome thing for all of us right now.
Well, so here's an idea that I just thought of. Okay, so what if for PvE they did, they made it a more of like a living card game style. So think like Arkham Horror is a good reference to living card game, or like Marvel, what's it called, is another living card game. The Lord of the Rings card game, stuff like that. What if they made like a pack of like, I don't know, like how many classes are there? There's like 10 classes or something like that. There's 10 classes, right? So what if they made a pack of like 40 cards and it was like $20 and it was like, it was 2 PvE only cards for each class or something.
Right.
Would you buy that?
Depends on, like, it couldn't be the product that they're pushing to like make PvE experience.
Right.
I don't know. That's a very interesting question. I think that they would have to figure out the classic battles or classic duels, whatever that set was called.
Oh yeah, sure.
I want to see more of those, like classic battles. I'm pretty sure it's called classic battles. I would love to see more of those kinds of things, but I would love to see exclusive cards in those. I am not anti that happening. I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Because then you have to buy multiples of those that have play sets of them.
Yeah.
But
that's my one complaint about that, is that like you can't just get like a play set of Glistening Steelblade for CC or whatever. Like you have to buy singles, or like buy 3, or how many of those, like
you have to buy like 2 comes in it or something. There's only one of the really good Dory cards, so you do have to buy 3.
Yeah, so you'd either have to buy 3 classic battles or just buy singles, and it's like it's kind of which like I don't know, Legend Story Studios has like acknowledged that there's like, they acknowledge the collector aspect of it and they acknowledge kind of the secondary market, but they like, I don't think that they want to encourage it in that kind of a way. So like I do hope that we get products that are like products that like have stuff in them where it's like, oh yeah, like you get some value out of buying this product, but not like that, because I think that was like a little bit too much for like, oh, there's this like super hot upgrade for Dory, but I have to buy 3 or spend like $75 on like 3 coppers. Or they were really expensive for a while. So,
I mean, that leads into the question of how do you feel about the CNC reprint in Dynasty? Just to circle back to Dynasty a little bit. I mean, that is something that's been argued a lot in the community about printing a card that is essential. I mean, to play at a very high level, I was playing decks for a long time without CNC. And when I got CNC, my decks were that much better.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for all matchups, but it's a powerful tool to have. So reprinting that as a fabled, a lot of people are upset about that. How do you feel about that particularly?
Man, like,
as a collector, as a player.
I mean, so I think so. If I opened Fable CNC, I probably would just sell it. Because it's like somebody is gonna want to like put those in their deck or whatever, and or just like collect it or whatever. I think that like it's really just weird, right? Because like all of the other fables have been like very specific, right? So think like Horsham, and like the most like general one that you could like arguably put into most decks is like Eye of Ophidia, but like besides that, it's like Grandeur of Valheim and like Arcanite Shard and stuff like that. Yeah, right. And so like,
which spiked after the Michael Hamilton list.
Yes.
People saw it as like a card you needed to have in your deck. I don't think it's a card you need to have in your deck.
I mean, I think it's a good advantage because like if you're like in an Icelander mirror or whatever, like you cycle through your deck twice and you gain 2 or 3 life, which is pretty good. But yeah, I agree. I don't think you need it. But yeah, like I think that like having these like cards that's like, yes, these are like upgrades, like minor upgrades to your deck. But you can only put one of them in your deck. I think that's super cool. And also like it's like really cool. Like I remember when I was getting into it, like the first time somebody pitched like Heart of Findel, I was like, wait, what is that? So it's like that's really cool.
It does have that allure to it when you see it. It's like a card you do not see often.
Yeah.
And it's impressive in that way.
But that being said, I think that like if somebody were to play a Fable CNC against me, I'd be like, all right, you have a lot of money. Or
right, yeah.
Yeah,
that's real. I wouldn't respect that. I feel like if someone was playing that card against me, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like if they weren't like a friend who I knew that was like, it's just like put that thing in a hard case, man. Yeah. Like this is worth money.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the other thing is that it's like they made something that is like you want 3 of. And I guess that's what I was trying to get at with the other like I have Ophidian, Heart of Fiendel and stuff is like they made something that wasn't legendary. So like you'd want 3 of them to have the thing. And so like I don't know, it's just really weird. And also it's like it's funny because people were talking about a CNC reprint and then they did do it.
Yeah. Well, I think it also just begs this question that a lot of people in the TCG space I think have a huge misconception on, and it's like it's not their responsibility to control the secondary market. Sure. That's actually not their job. It's their job is to put out a good game that people want to buy and pay money for.
Yeah.
I don't know if a fabled CNC makes me want to buy Dynasty, but there are people out there who are now buying more Dynasty or opening packs more. I mean, I could see myself in a year winning a prize pack of Dynasty off the shelf and opening it. If I open a fabled CNC, it's going to be an amazing experience.
Yeah. No, that's true.
That's going to be super cool. But yes, I will immediately sell it. It'll be worth nothing but money to me.
Yeah.
And I just hope that whoever buys it maybe sells some CNCs back into the market. But I don't really give a shit. It's not their responsibility. It sucks that the barrier to get into this game is money. Like, to play at a high level, to get these cards, to compete. But it costs money to travel. It costs money to stay in a hotel for a weekend, to not work for a weekend, to like play this game. This game, it's a hobby like any other. It costs money, and it's a bummer that it's a barrier of entry, but I'm not going to hold LSS responsible through the cards that they choose to print over whether or not they're going to play this game.
Well, and I mean, the other thing too is like, they reprinted CNC in the history packs too. So like I don't know if I would buy into the they should have reprinted it in Dynasty or whatever. Like I think it's nonsense, but like I don't know. I think that like if I were to like if we were to go back in time and James White walked up to me and was like, Tim, should I put CNC in should I put CNC in Dynasty? I'd be like, I don't know, James. It's kind of a weird move. And he was like, all right, Tim, I'll do something else instead. Like, if that were to happen, that'd be cool. But
no, I think it's a cool card. It's a money card.
Yeah.
It's they understand that the secondary market exists and it's a product for collectors, and it's what we're dealing with as players. Because they got rid of the model of, first edition and then unlimited.
Yes.
And they're just trying to make both markets happy. And I think it's a reasonable fix. I think people just viewed it in the wrong way, thinking that it was supposed to fix the CNC market. And it's not what it was supposed to do. It's just supposed to be a really cool card for people to hunt after and to want and to buy packs to open it.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. And like that's the other thing, right? Is it just like generally kind of raises the EV of every pack that you open? Because it's like, and like this is something that I think is a total home run about Dynasty, is that like every time you open a pack, like you could get like five rare pluses on the back half of the pack, because there's like the 2 assassin slots, which could be anything. And then there's like the 2 regular slots, and then there's the other like equipment slot that could be like, you know, M plus or whatever. So like I think you have the potential to just like open up some bangers in any given pack. And like, yeah, like I think that the legendaries were like a little bit weak, right? It's like the Emperor, the Crown, and then I guess the Blackjack Whispers were fine because like an assassin boot.
And then it's both of the light cards.
Oh yeah, and then the Light of Arenia and Soraya something.
Which, when they become meta, everyone will be like, "Whoa,
yeah, exactly." Yeah, I mean, I picked up.
You should ban this card.
Yeah, no, I picked up Light of Arenia. Just because I was like, man, this like it's down. Might as well pick one up. Yeah, get it for the collection. I'll probably do the same for Soraya before they reprint Prism or something. So,
right. I mean, the Marvel Soraya card is fucking gorgeous.
Isn't it beautiful? Like everybody's talking, like everybody's like, oh, Soraya is kind of weird. I don't know. And like, I'm just like, it may not be like good, but like the art is beautiful. The Marvel is gorgeous. It's a Prism card. Everybody who has watched this channel knows I am a Prism person. And a Rhinar person, apparently.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Because those decks are so simple.
Yeah. One of them is delicate and feminine and takes a big brain, and the other is literally a big green man in a loincloth.
And then the other one is Prism. I mean, I pulled Marvel Mech, and
that's pretty cool too.
It's gorgeous. It's such a pretty card. I like I said, I don't know if the mech build, the mechanoid build, is good, but I pulled that card and I want to run that deck because it just would be fun to put that shiny on a table.
See, and that's the other thing that I think that like is like missing with CNC is like when I pull a Fable, like if I've pulled like the first, I actually had never pulled a Fable until Dynasty, and then I pulled a Blood of Versailles, and I was like, oh man, this like is so cool. The art's like really cool. It's really pretty. Like, oh man, I kind of want to like make like a Dromai deck that can make use of this or something. It's like
that card is trash.
No, I know, but bear with me. But like, but you pull the Nitro Mechanoid card, and you're like, oh man, this is beautiful. I want to make a deck out of this. And I just like, I think that's one of the things that's missing with like the Marvel CNC, right? Is like you pull it and you go like, oh cool, I'm going to sell this for $300 or whatever, right? Like you're not like, I'm going to make a sick card or a sick deck based on CNC.
A crazy way to think about it, right? I'm a new player to this game. I get into this game. I'm like, my buddy tells me, hey, buy a box of Uprising, buy a box of Dynasty, get into the game. I pull Marvel CNC. I just pulled 3 CNCs. I just pulled a set of CNCs.
That's fair.
I sell this card, and now I have my full set. So, like, people bitching about how they're not, granted, that's a 1 in, 15,000 cases person. But that person exists. And when they open that, they get a full set of CNCs immediately.
Yeah. No, that's true. It and that's like that's the other thing too. Is like it doesn't feel bad to open it. It's just like kind of a weird move, and I'm coming from a very privileged, like already have 3 CNCs, albeit in German. I have 3 CNCs, and I will never trade them because I don't need to, right? Yeah. Like, so yeah, I mean, it's just like I'm coming from a very privileged position when I say like I don't care, and it should have been different. But like also like a new player that pulls it and is like, it's like oh man, I think it's really cool. So yeah, definitely talked about Dynasty. We do have some spicy news that we should wrap up the show with.
Big news.
Okay, so first we'll start with the less spicy news. So yeah, tabletop or what is the thing? It's called? I think it's called Tabletop Game Awards or something. But big deal, big board game.
Dicebreaker. The Dicebreaker Awards, yeah.
Yeah, so big awards every year, and they have a category for best ongoing card games. So this covers like living card games, trading card games, collectible card games, etc. And Everfest actually won best for
booster set.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So the other competitors were like whatever Pokemon set, like Sun, Zenith, Moon, Silver, Diamond, or yes, Sun, Spirit, Moon, Silver, Transformation, Diamond X. And then there was also Dominaria United from Magic, and then I think there was a Lord of the Rings card game expansion, which is pretty sweet game. I that I also own that I've never played, but I read the rule book and looked at the cards and they were really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, we should just have a living card game night sometime where we play Arkham and Lord of the Rings and just learn all these weird derby card games.
My partner might play the Lord of the Rings one, so maybe that is.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool.
That'd be fun. But yeah, so what do you think? What do you think about that? Everfest winning not just best Flesh and Blood set of the year.
Right. But I think they win the award because they're Flesh and Blood, and Flesh and Blood needed to win an award. I'm not sure if Everfest is the set that's like, ooh, this is so good. That didn't come from like players of the game. I know that. I came in around Everfest and I did not hear people hooting and hollering about how good that set was at all. But I think it's because it's the set. But that's good. Did they vote before Uprising was out? I don't understand.
Right? They must have, right? Because like Uprising, like to me personally, like, and like I know they had like they went through a couple of like they banned a couple of things. Like they banned Stubby Hammers for Fi. What else did they ban? During Uprising?
At the top of my head, I'm not sure, but
yeah, like
a bunch of Blitz stuff.
Oh yeah, they banned some Blitz stuff, right? Like they banned Blitz stuff and they banned Stubby Hammers.
Oh, they banned Oakenold.
Right? Oh yeah,
or is that
right? Yeah, but that's a Tales of Aria problem. So like Uprising to me, like after they banned, and even while Oakenold was legal, like Uprising to me has slapped so far. Like there was 1 week where it's like, okay, Fi with Stubbies is pretty powerful.
Did they ban Oakenold or they banned Pulse of
that's they effectively banned Oakenold, but they banned Pulse Visor.
Right, they banned the card that made it good.
Yeah, exactly. So like I loved Uprising. I thought drafting it, I didn't draft it like a ton like a lot of people did, but apparently it just got better as time went on because like people kind of figured it out. But I drafted it 3 times. I drafted 3 different heroes and it was fun every time. Like it was very fun.
I enjoyed drafting it. Yeah. I didn't draft it too hard like everyone did during RTN season and all that, but from the drafts that I did do, I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. And then I thought that like after the Stubbies ban, I thought that it was just like I just thought it was a really good meta. Like I know I'm not alone in this, but I also know that there are people who disagree. But yeah, I really liked it. I think also hot take, I think Fi like in that style of deck is actually very, very good for the game. It keeps people honest. Right. So you can't just dirtle around and like Kano, for example. Like Kano would be extremely good, and is still pretty good, but like it would be absurd if Fi wasn't around, right? So it's like I think a deck like that is very good to have in the meta, and like Uprising brought that to us, and also like they gave us like fucking ninja like dragon ninjas and a dragon illusionist. Like,
Fire ninjas and
get out of here, Ice Wizard, aka Jaina Proudmoore, one of my very favorite characters in World of Warcraft. They brought us everything in that set, and it was sick. Like I don't know what else you want, you know. But yeah, so Everfest wasn't the best set of the year for me, but like maybe like I think I like your theory though. Like maybe it like the voting happened before Uprising came out.
Yeah, I think that has to be what it is, and they just wanted to give the award to the game because it's also kind of messed up. Because like, isn't Dominaria United or whatever? Isn't that like the 30th anniversary set for Magic? That's like their big like we're returning to where we started. I don't know anything about Magic.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's like the original world of Magic is Dominaria. I might be talking.
Yes. No. You're right. I don't know. I have no idea. Like the last thing I heard about Magic, and this is like literally the last time that I paid any attention to Magic, was the whole debacle around the 30th anniversary packs, which is like $1,000 for 4 randomized booster packs of fake Magic cards. I'm just gonna leave it there because this has been beaten to death.
Yeah, exactly. And like, as a non-Magic player, it's literally just me talking shit if I say anything.
Yes, no, exactly.
That's really bad.
Like I used to be very entrenched in that scene, and I had a lot of fun, buying singles from my LGS or whatever when new cards came out and the prices were low. I was like, oh, that's gonna be really good, and then stonks, and then I traded away and do all that. So that kind of stuff was very enjoyable. And now I just every time I'm like, maybe Magic is better now, and then you go and it's like, oh right, you're spending $1,000 now on 60 fake Magic cards.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yes, back to the point. Everfest, not that great of a set. Flesh and Blood, great game, deserves an award.
Yeah,
maybe a bit of a gimme award in this instance.
Yeah,
a bit of a pat on the back, maybe.
Well, what about? Did you ever play Pokemon or anything like that?
Yeah, I played Pokemon when I was a little kid. I was a child when the very first set came out, and I played all the early Pokemons. But yeah, I never played Pokemon when it became a serious game.
Yeah.
Balanced and whatever modern day Pokemon is, which I keep seeing on the internet is really competitive and cool. So I mean, probably a bummer to be Pokemon Magic player.
I guess.
That those sets were really good, and they gave it to Flesh and Blood for a set that Flesh and Blood players do not think is very good.
Yeah, so. but also even though that meta was probably the meta wasn't even that bad in CC though, right? Because you had it
was the worst meta this game's ever seen.
But it wasn't that bad. That's what I'm saying. Right. Yes, it was bad, or it was the worst, but it wasn't bad. I don't know. I also played Prism the whole time, so it's I just had a skewed. I don't know.
We also didn't have a lot of Starvos in our area.
That's true. Yeah, I went to a PQ in that meta, and I didn't see Starvo all day. It was kind of funny. Okay, one last. I got to get your reaction on this last piece of news. This is the spiciest piece of news. Since 2 weeks ago we had Dynasty, we've had enough of that set. Obviously, it's done to death. We're bored of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On to the next.
Yeah,
we didn't just get hundreds of or over 100 cards to play with and do something. No,
right.
No.
Right. No. Well, we actually just got an announcement for, and it's coming out in March, so this is a ways away. But it is called Outsiders, and it is a new set for Flesh and Blood. It's going to be draftable, it's a full set. It is. Let me just. Okay, March 24th, 2023, which is my birthday month, so everybody feel free to send me boxes. March 24th, 2023. Jacob, what is the art on this box? It is
it's this really, really awesome chick who looks like she's on a pirate ship.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting. So exciting to me. I'm so hyped.
She kind of reminds me of Jinx from League of Legends. I don't know if you're familiar, but
I have seen people reference that. She looks like a hit version of Tank Girl to me.
For anyone who knows Tank Girl. Yeah.
She got Tank Girl vibes.
She's got a cigar hanging out of her mouth. It's so crazy. She's got Tank Girl helmet thing, goggles, a cigar hanging out of her mouth, but then she's got a necklace, a bead necklace with teeth and also this weird fishnet thing, and she has a thing that she's holding that looks like a brain. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but she's on a pirate ship.
Is in the first question straight off the top. Is she a playable character, or is she just art from the set?
Oh my god, I don't even care at this point. She's a a witch doctor tank mechanologist person on a pirate ship. They gave us dragons, they gave us ninjas, they're giving us pirates.
Yeah, if
People of Flesh and Blood, what the fuck else do you want?
If we can do ninjas versus pirates, it'll make a bunch of elder millennials very happy.
The answer is still ninjas.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's fucking ninjas.
Of course it is. Although I do want to play a pirate in this game. That does sound fun to swashbuckle. Oh gosh, especially if you could do something like dual wield a sword and a pistol. Ooh. Come on, that sounds fun as hell.
That'd be, oh, man. Okay, that would be such a sick mechanic though. Like you have the repeatable sword attack, and then maybe you have like some weird like load, like you have like a loady like pistol mechanic like with dash, and then you have like you could have like a sword that you can just that'd be so cool.
Right? Wouldn't it be fun as well?
That would be sick. Okay, so what else? If it wasn't a pirate, what else would you want from Dynasty? Like, or not Dynasty, from Outsiders? Yeah, like what?
What do I really want from this set? What I really want is a character I identify with. I just no one in this game. Like I love this game. I play a lot of characters in this game. None scratch the specific itch of like my nerdiness particularly. I think Arachne comes close, but the playstyle didn't really look like something that would really be fun for me. So like honestly, if they give me like what I really love is a new brute that is like, I don't know, just a scary big human, male or female, I don't care.
Yeah. Give us a female brute, that'd be really cool actually. Yeah.
I don't know, just something fun like that. Some new talented brute is what I want. Yeah.
I do really like because I feel you, like there are decks that I love in this game, but I want a character that like is like, I don't know how to say this, is like that I like to play, that is also like something that I vibe with thematically. Like and it's sad because like I felt that way kind of about Prism. Like I didn't identify with Prism necessarily, but like I really like that she was like non-classical, like feminine fantasy character, and she like her story is that she like appeared randomly in a library and like became super powerful because she read a bunch of books. Like more or less, that's very distilled. And then like
it's very cool. It's a very cool idea.
Yeah, and then like I really enjoyed playing her. My daughter, like when I show her my cards, she always picked out Prism as her favorite. So like like I like Prism a lot. Now I'm like looking for that again. Like I love Reinhardt, but like I don't, it's not like I'm not like, oh yeah, Brute Nation,
I think I love Fire Ninja. Like I love like the idea of like a Fire Ninja. If you asked like 8-year-old me for a Halloween costume, it would be like Fire Ninja.
Yeah,
probably.
right.
But I think that the gameplay is like close, but like not 100% what I like. And I really enjoy playing Fi. I am not. This is not a bitch, but thematically, it doesn't feel like much. It feels like it does feel like you're playing like the most bare bones version of Flesh and Blood when you're playing Fi.
Sure.
You're just playing very honest Flesh and Blood, where it's just like I'm gonna attack. Yeah. Every card's gonna be 3 damage and figure out your lines and figure out what cards you're going to block with because I'm going to do this every turn.
Yeah.
It's not tricky. I want a hero that's aggro, but like a little tricky. Like a little sauce to him. And I think that's fun too.
Like that has a lot, that has a little more play to it. Right.
Yeah. Some trickery, some like, I don't know, some interesting attack reaction. I love attack reactions. I don't want to play warrior necessarily, but I love that design space. I love the
I mean, it's kind of like playing poker, right? It's like, do you have the double pump or whatever? It's like you come in and keep your counters. I agree. I felt kind of the same. Like I love, like for Dash, for example, like I love Dash, and like so there's gonna be somebody who listens to this is like, fuck you, Dash is so complex. And like Dash does have play, and like you have to make a lot of interesting decisions in a lot of ways, but like it's like, are you boosting or are you turtling up and shooting? Like to me, there's like not a lot of, like, it can be very fun, right? If like it was a dynamic like block and attack or whatever, but like it felt too straightforward to me. And so like that's why I like dash a lot, and I have dash and like whatever, but like she's not my favorite because of the play style. So like I'm with you in that boat where like I just want I want a play style that fits my just like generic, my own play style. And then I also want just like that is also just like a sick character that I identify with. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, I'm waiting to find a hero that I can't put down. I can't walk away from. Like I played Briar for a long time, and I walked away, and I've been playing Fi, and I play Rhinar. I think Rhinar is the deck that that play style is the most fun to me. Yeah. I like the way it makes me think. I just really enjoy the idea of like setting up these discard hands and all this stuff. So yeah, I think I'm just looking for a deck that once I find the way it plays, and I just like can't resist playing that hero. Totally. And hopefully, Outsiders is the set for me. I'm hoping that they're going to give me this character that I can't think of right now that's going to really just blow me away.
Right.
Like, I think the idea of getting 4 new heroes is so cool because in Uprising we really only got 2 new heroes. Like Iyslander definitely became a new hero by being CC Global, but I had played against her in Blitz. I had like seen kind of somewhat of what the game plan was, but I really hope that we just get 4 new heroes, even if that includes what everyone's talking about. The Star Vote Azalea. I still think if it has a new text ability on the card, that's a new card to me. So that's what I really want to see. It's just 4 new heroes. And I'm sticking to that number. It's 4 new heroes.
No, man, we need another Monarch style set. I don't know. Like I was just starting when Monarch came out, but like you mentioned this earlier too. It's like light versus shadow, and there were four new heroes. It's like so cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. Yeah, so we've been talking about a bunch of random stuff for like an hour. Anything you want to say before we wrap up, Jacob? Any nuggets, words of advice, or you could just tell us what your favorite soda is or something. I don't know.
Take a break if you need it. I think it makes you love the game more. Honestly, I mean, I took this little break. Same. I played a couple games, and I still really enjoy this game, and it's really nice to take some time off and do other things like paint minis or build Gundams or, just get your shit together. Whatever it is that you need to do that. And it's worth your time. And watch a movie, because that's my main thing. Is to tell everyone just watch a movie.
Or bear with me, paint minis while watching a movie.
Watching movies.
Can confirm is fucking sick.
Great way to pass the time.
Oh yeah. No, like man, minis is like my new obsession outside of that's like my secondary hobby right now, and I'm super stoked about it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get a paint session when I get back from Hawaii. I still want to do that. We talked about that.
Yes,
definitely
100%. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Of course, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that will improve our chances of appearing in somebody else's YouTube page, algorithms, etc. Hit the like button, do all that. You can also find us on Twitter at Enlightened_Mic. We might change that at some point, right? Like maybe we should change it to like Team Galaxy Brain. I don't know.
This is the last podcast where our Twitter handles are wrong, because I'm gonna make a new one and we'll fix the line.
Yeah, we could figure. We'll figure it out. You snag the username, and then we'll coordinate. It'll be like the time that the Padres changed their Twitter name, and somebody
it's a fiasco. Yeah, no, we'll figure it out. But until then, follow all this. All the others.
Where can people find you on Twitter, Jacob?
Right now, you can find me on Twitter under G Williker, JeeWiliker. That's different than the one I gave you last time we talked. It was just wrong. I just fucked up and it was wrong. So that's my actual Twitter handle.
Multiple personalities over here.
Yeah. So find me there, and I just post mostly just fab stuff and maybe a funny meme or two.
that's honestly like all I need in life. Fab stuff and a funny meme every once in a while. So yeah, occasionally our friend Dylan will just like send the Enlightened Mic Twitter like a funny meme in the DMs, which occasionally I'm like, oh, we got a DM. It's probably somebody who like has seen our content. It's just Dylan sending us a meme.
Yeah, we should get him on here soon.
Yeah, no, he'd be a riot. All right, well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.